Rain poured over the city like 1,000 unspoken tears. The glass towers of downtown glistened under the storm, and inside one of them, on the 42nd floor, sat Evelyn Hart, the youngest CEO in her company's history. To the world, she was power-wrapped in perfection, tailored suits, sharp eyes, and a voice that could silence a boardroom. But tonight, she was neither powerful nor perfect. She was terrified. Her hands trembled against the armrest of her wheelchair as the elevator chimed. Heavy footsteps echoed down the marble corridor outside her office. "Please," she whispered, heart racing. "Don't hurt me. I can't walk." The door burst open, but instead of the man she feared, a drenched stranger holding a small child stepped inside. His name was Daniel Brooks, a single father and former construction worker who had come to deliver an urgent maintenance report that Evelyn had requested earlier that day. He hadn't expected the storm, or to find the powerful CEO shaking in fear. I'm sorry," Daniel stammered. "The front desk said to bring this up here. I didn't mean to startle you." Evelyn blinked rapidly, her eyes wide and glistening. You're not with them." "Who?" She exhaled shakily. "Never mind." She tried to regain her composure, wiping a tear that had betrayed her. "You're from the maintenance company." Daniel nodded, adjusting his daughter, Lily, a bright-eyed 6-year-old, on his hip. The little girl peered curiously around the office. Evelyn noticed the child's mismatched raincoat, one shoe soaked through, and a teddy bear clutched in her small arms. Something inside Evelyn softened, something she hadn't felt in a long time. "Sorry about the scare," Evelyn said after a moment, voice steadier. "I just wasn't expecting anyone. Please, put the report on the desk." Daniel hesitated. "Ma'am, are you okay? You looked, well, frightened." Evelyn's lips trembled slightly. "I'm fine. Just bad memories." He didn't press further, but something about her tone stayed with him. That night should have been just another cold, rain-drenched evening in a city that never slept. But fate had already set things in motion. 2 days later, Evelyn's office door opened again, this time to Daniel's quiet knock. "I finished the electrical repairs in the sub-basement," he said. "But I thought you'd want to know something. Your wheelchair ramp down there, it's not up to safety standards. One loose railing, and someone could get hurt." Evelyn looked up from her papers. "Thank you. I'll see it's fixed." He hesitated before turning away. "If you ever need help with that, I can do it myself." "No charge." She frowned. "Why would you offer that?" Daniel smiled faintly. "Because I've seen enough people get ignored when they need help the most." Over the next few weeks, Evelyn saw Daniel often, more than she expected. He was always fixing something in the building, always patient with his little girl in tow. Lily became a small spark of light in Evelyn's otherwise gray days. She'd bring Evelyn coffee from the lobby cafe and chatter about school and her favorite cartoons, completely unbothered by the CEO's cool exterior or the wheelchair that followed her everywhere. One afternoon, when Lily tripped and spilled her drink across Evelyn's desk, the child's face fell in horror. "I'm so sorry, Miss Evelyn. Daddy says I have to be careful, but sometimes my feet forget." Evelyn couldn't help it, she laughed. A real laugh, not the polite, corporate kind. The sound startled her as much as it did Daniel. "It's fine, sweetheart," she said, handing Lily a napkin. "Paper can be replaced. Smiles can't." Daniel's gaze softened. In that moment, Evelyn wasn't the CEO everyone feared. She was just a woman trying to find warmth again. But peace never lasts long in stories like this. Evelyn's company was facing a crisis, an internal betrayal. Her chief financial officer had been embezzling funds, and the discovery left the company's reputation in ruins. The media feasted on it, and Evelyn, already battling her own private war, became the target of ruthless scrutiny. Reporters camped outside her building. Headlines painted her as cold, heartless, incompetent. Investors pulled back. The board questioned her leadership. And through it all, Daniel noticed something she tried to hide, the pain behind her practiced smile. One evening, as he finished his shift, he found her alone in the parking garage, staring at her car. Her hands trembled on the wheelchair's rims, she couldn't transfer herself into the seat. The effort was too much. He stepped forward silently. "Let me help you." She looked up, startled. "I can manage. Maybe. But you don't have to." Something in his tone broke through her pride. Without another word, she nodded. He lifted her gently, carefully, respectfully, and helped her into the car. Her breath caught. It had been years since anyone had touched her without pity or condescension. "Thank you," she whispered. "Anytime." Later that week, when the storm of the scandal grew worse, Evelyn disappeared from work. Her assistant said she'd taken a leave of absence. Whispers spread. Was she resigning? Was she sick? Daniel didn't see her again until a month later, at the community park where he often took Lily. She sat on a bench overlooking the lake, bundled in a thick coat, looking smaller than he remembered. "Evelyn." She turned, surprised but smiling faintly. "Daniel." "Lily." Her eyes softened as the little girl ran up to hug her. "I've been meaning to thank you," Evelyn said quietly once Lily was off chasing ducks. "That night in the garage, you were kind. Most people aren't." He shrugged. "Most people are scared to care." "I get it." She hesitated. "Do you ever feel like life just took everything from you, and you're still pretending it hasn't?" He looked at her then, not the CEO, not the woman in the wheelchair, but just a soul asking for understanding. "Yeah," he said softly. "Every day since my wife died." Evelyn's breath caught. "I didn't know. She had cancer. I stopped working for a while to take care of her. After she passed, I promised Lily I'd still be her superhero. But honestly, some days, I don't feel like one." Evelyn blinked back tears. "I lost someone too. Not to death, but, when the accident happened, I lost the person I used to be. Everyone looked at me differently after that. Like I was broken glass." Daniel met her gaze. "You're not broken. You're just learning to be strong in a different way." Those words, simple, honest, hit her harder than any boardroom applause ever could. As winter melted into spring, Evelyn and Daniel's paths intertwined more deeply. She found herself inviting them to company events, charity dinners, and sometimes quiet dinners at her home. Lily filled the once silent halls with laughter and crayons on expensive tables. For the first time in years, Evelyn's house felt alive. Yet the world doesn't easily forgive women like her. The board demanded her resignation, claiming she was emotionally compromised. Investors doubted her leadership. They wanted someone else to take control, someone whole. She fought back, but it was a losing battle. When she told Daniel, he listened silently. "What are you going to do?" he asked. "I don't know," she admitted. "Part of me wants to walk away. The other part, well, it can't walk at all." He smiled gently. "Then let the part that stands tall for what's right lead instead." She frowned, confused. "You built that company," he continued. "Don't let them take it just because they can't see past a wheelchair." His words reignited something inside her, a spark she thought was gone. The next morning, Evelyn arrived at the board meeting with her head high. Cameras flashed as she rolled into the conference room, dressed in sleek navy blue, eyes blazing. "You want me gone," she began, voice steady. "Fine. But before you decide, let's talk about the last 2 years. About the growth I achieved. About the employees who now have health benefits. About the community programs we started. None of that happened because I can walk. It happened because I can lead." The room fell silent. She looked around slowly. "If my disability makes you uncomfortable, that's your weakness, not mine." When she finished, even her harshest critics couldn't meet her eyes. The vote was delayed, and a week later, she was reinstated as CEO, by unanimous decision. That evening, she went to Daniel's small apartment with tears in her eyes and gratitude in her heart. "You were right," she said, standing in his doorway. "You changed everything." He smiled. "You just needed someone to remind you who you already were." Lily tugged on Evelyn's hand. "Miss Evelyn, can we have ice cream now? Daddy says brave people deserve ice cream." Evelyn laughed through her tears. "Then we'll need a whole tub." They spent the night talking, laughing, and for once, living without fear. Months later, Evelyn's company launched a new foundation dedicated to accessibility in the workplace, funding mobility aids, scholarships, and mentorship for people with disabilities. She named it the Lily Project. When reporters asked why, she smiled at the little girl holding her hand. Because one small act of kindness can change someone's entire story. Years down the road, when people spoke of Evelyn Hart, they didn't just call her the female CEO in a wheelchair. They called her the woman who taught the world that strength isn't about standing tall, it's about standing firm, no matter how you rise. And when asked what made her believe again, she would smile and say softly, Because once, a single dad and his little girl reminded me that broken hearts can still build beautiful things. Moral: true strength isn't about power, status, or perfection, it's about compassion, courage, and the people who help you see your worth when you've forgotten it yourself.